Y'all ever do that where you just had a brush in your hand and you put it down?
I've never met anyone quite like her before.
Everybody, welcome back to Andieland. It's your girl Andie, and today I am doing my take on the Victoria's Secret look. I believe in like the sultry eyes, the red blush, the nude lip. This is my spin on it. Emphasis on my spin. So if you guys would like to see how I got this beautiful look, please make sure you're first and foremost subscribe to my channel, like this video, and keep watching. Y'all, we about to get cute. I definitely want to do a matte primer today because I feel like I'm going in with a lot of glowiness, and I'm really in my T-zone. So we're taking the Mattifine primer from MAC. This primer is really good at controlling oils. I have a few new primers, but they're still in my suitcase. Yes, I have still not fully unpacked from Nigeria. It is what it is. Now I am gonna take the NYX Glue primer on the rest of my face just to keep it hydrated and because I love the stickiness of this primer. Because we got our second powder now, I guess. I have a powder puff here, and then I have my Fenty Beauty Pro Filter setting powder. This is the shade Hazelnut, so it is closer to my skin tone. I'm taking a powder puff, and I'm just gonna go straight in and set mainly my T-zone and my lifelines first. All right, next I'm gonna spray my face. I'm gonna take the regular Fix Plus by MAC. Douse my face in it. I have been doing a lot of different things makeup wise lately, but oh my god, this is about to be another MAC video. I am gonna take the Studio Radiance by MAC. I feel like a lot of the models have really nice glowy skin. I kind of want to focus a little bit on that today, so I am gonna go with the MAC Studio Radiance. This is NC45. I'm gonna put a couple pumps on the back of my hand. It's a new one, sorry. Oh, that was probably a lot. I am gonna still add a little bit of my Lumi Glow. You guys know I really love this one. This is the shade Rich 905. I'm just gonna put a little bit of that in there. Ooh. All right, I'm gonna mix this up with my finger just to warm that product up on the back of my hand, and then I'm going to go ahead and dot this on my face. Teeny bit of my forehead. All right, I still do have some on my hand, so I didn't even use all of that product. I'm gonna take my Morphe E63 brush, and we're just going to pat this foundation into the skin. You definitely want to pat, no swiping, because if you swipe, you're gonna get streaks. Nobody wants streaks on their face. I did take this up a little high on accident, but we should be fine because I'm not really going anywhere today. I'm not rushing. I don't have to be late. We love that for me. And I'm gonna just take my brush into whatever is left on my hand and just use the excess where I see fit. I really don't like wasting product. Now that my foundation is evenly applied, I'm gonna go on top of this with a sponge. I kind of go back and forth between brushes and sponges. I feel like this helps absorb a little bit of the product, which prevents creasing and patchiness later. And I don't know, I just feel like it helps my blending. I'm just gonna dab the booty of this sponge all over. Okay, so I am gonna spray my face again. I'm gonna use the Morphe Jumbo Continuous Mist. And then take my brush and re-pat that spray in. I really want this spray meshed with my foundation. I spray multiple times in my routines. It helps with the longevity. It helps with the hydration of my face because I don't want to overproduce oils even though I am oily. If I do too much sucking of the oils out of my skin, I'm actually going to end up overproducing oil and my makeup won't last as long. So those of you who know me in real life know I do not like touching up my face at all. Now we can move on to concealer. The first concealer we're going to use is by BlkOpl. I honestly really love this concealer. This is the shade Proper Penny. It is a perfect skin tone shade for me. You can see it's a teeny bit lighter than my foundation because my foundation is a teeny bit darker than me. Y'all hear them dogs? Child, okay. But this is where I put my concealer just to add a little bit extra coverage so I don't have to go in with 50 layers of foundation. This kind of just helps me not be as cakey and correct where I needed to correct. So to blend out this, if I could find it. So to blend this out, I'm going to be taking my Real Technique setting brush and we're just going to pat this concealer into the skin. If you feel like your concealer is a little too tacky, go ahead and spray your face and that'll help you blend it out a little easier. You never want to start tugging and swiping on your face. No, don't do that. But starting on the edges, you want to work your way up into that inner corner. We're literally just patting. Like, you see how effortlessly that blends? Now, before I go in with my second concealer, I'm going to take the booty of my sponge that I was using, or my foundation brush, depends on which I have in my hand. But I'm just going to go ahead and re-blend over everything. I like my face to look seamless. I like you to be able to see my concealer, see my contour, see my blush, but I don't really like for you to know where it begins and where it ends. So yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. So for my brightening concealer, I am going to take, I feel like I should just go bright because let's go bright or go home. I'm going to take my Loreal Infallible concealer. This is the shade Cashmere. If you guys watch my affordable tutorial, you know I use this and it is very much bright, like very, very bright. And I thought it was going to be too bright, but I kind of have been loving this. I'm not going to put a lot, so I did just do like, it actually kind of is a lot, but we're just going to leave it right there where it is. And we're going to let that sit and get a little tacky so I can get a little bit more coverage on that and contour and do blush. I have been loving my Espresso matchstick a lot. Like, we know I loved it, but I feel like I always leave it and come back and it's always still that girl. So I'm going to literally, I'm feeling out where my actual cheekbone is and using that as a guide for my face. Just to enhance the bone structure I already have. Then I'm going to spray my face again with the Fix Plus. I'm taking my flat contour brush from Real Techniques and I'm literally going to blend out my contour, starting with the jaw because baby be eating good. I do not like to skip the step because I really do have like 50 chins, and honestly, nobody needs to know that I have 50 chins but me and my refrigerator. Ain't gonna forget to blend out my forehead this time. Blending contour, I like to pat still, but I'm kind of doing a little bit more of like a push upwards. I like my face to look snatched and lifted, so that's why I kind of take my contour up like towards the temples. I take my blush up towards the temples, my highlight up. I like to drag my face up. I don't like to drag my face down and make it droopy. I also don't like having to clean up too much, so I'm very particular with the brushes I like to use in the way I like to place my products for that reason. So for the Victoria's Secret look, everybody was talking about using a red blush, and I love me a red blush. Let's be real. So this is Rare Beauty's blush in the shade Grateful. And we are going to take literally one dot on either side of my face. You can always add more. It's really hard to tone down, especially if you're a beginner. So start with one dot, build your way up. I'm gonna blend that out with my Real Techniques Expert Face Brush, and I'm literally just gonna pat, pat, pat. I wanna kind of concentrate that kind of in this area. I do again take it up to my temple. It's okay if it gets a little in the brow. I am gonna be setting with powder, but I really want that flush of cheek, that flush of color to come upwards. So I'm not really doing too much under the eye, literally like just right here under the eye and bringing it up. If you feel like you need more blush, go in. I'm gonna stop here because I am still gonna go on top of this with powder blush. Before I blend out my under eye, I'm gonna take that booty of that sponge and just kind of dab where my blush and my contour meet, starting at the temples. Again, I like them to be present. I don't like them to be obvious. What are we thinking? We like? Because I like. All right, I'm taking another powder puff. This is just one I got from Amazon, and we're gonna use this to blend out my under eye concealer. I am going to just start patting. This is very seamless. It is a very thick and full coverage concealer, so you don't need a lot, but it blends very effortlessly with this puff. I'm not swiping, we're patting. If you're new to my channel, we do a lot of patting, a lot of spraying, and I do use a lot of powders too, but we'll get to that in a second. Now you see what I mean about the brightness, ombreing into the blush, into the contour, into my foundation. It's literally seamless. Like, you be like, oh, I know you got concealer on, but how'd you place it? You know what I'm saying? And I really just blended it right in here because when you have that light shining in, it's in the center of your face, and that's what makes them eyes pop. If I highlight my whole face, then I really just look light-skinned as Hello Kitty, because it's not gonna match. And I'm gonna have overdone it. Now before I do powder, I am gonna go over my highlighted area with my sponge. One, because I feel like the powder puff sometimes gives me harsh lines on my nose, and I don't like to set harsh lines. Again, I like it to look ombre. I like it to blend into each other. Two, because if you are having problems with creasing, sometimes you're just putting too much product on, and the sponge absorbs product. So I like to just kind of go over my eyes just a little bit, just to reinforce that blend and make sure that when I set, my face won't crease down the line. To set, I'm first gonna go in with the Charlotte Tilbury pressed powder. This is the shade 2, and I'm going to just set right under my eye, pressing that powder into the concealer. This is another trick if you have problems with setting, because sometimes your concealer is too wet, and when you go with loose powder, it's going to cling to certain spots and create patchiness and creasing. So this, a pressed powder does kind of help a little more with the even application of powder, so it doesn't cling to wet spots. I have been using lots of different powders lately because I have so many, but when I did this look yesterday, I found myself reaching for my Fenty Beauty powder. This is the shade Butter. It's very light, very light. I find I don't like using powders with too much yellow because it makes me look like a Oompa Loompa. So I prefer either something like this or maybe like a peach powder. But we're going to use Butter. This is a bright powder, so if you don't like bright, go with shade darker. I'm going to take it and rub it on the back of my hand so it's an even application on the puff, and I'm going to go over everywhere we just set with that Charlotte Tilbury powder and press it in. This is a thicker powder as well, so if you are more dry skinned, I would use a brush, or honestly probably not this particular powder, but I would use a brush to set under your eye, maybe just using a press like Charlotte Tilbury and keeping it pushing. To set the rest of my face, I'm going to take my Fenty Beauty foundation powder. This is the shade 420. It is a pressed powder, and I like to take it with my fluffy brush and stamp it all over my face, including my highlighted areas. I start on the edge though to get the most product on the edges, and then whatever is left on my brush kind of just helps to blend the rest of the face together. We aren't swiping again. We are literally just pressing this brush into the skin, stippling it if you will, and making sure that I get that airbrush finish. People always ask me, oh, your face looks so blended. This is why. Going with a light hand. I'm not really trying to look for coverage here. I'm looking for blend. Another good powder is like the Mineralized Skin Finish by MAC, the Sephora Micro Smooth. Those are all really great pressed powders for blending your face. Like you see, she bad. Okay. For bronzer, I am going to take my Makeup by Mario bronzer in the shade Deep in my fluffy color brush, and I'm literally just going to use this to go over everywhere I used that contour stick earlier. Stamping it on into the hairline. Use it on a little bit on the jaw too, just to kind of tie the face together. The red blush, I'm going to be using powder blush. This is from KVD Beauty. This is the Everlasting blush in the shade Poppy. Taking a fluffy powder brush from, I think, the Royal and Langnickel that I got from my TJ Maxx. And I'm literally going to put this kind of in this corner of my eye, underneath, and like up into the temple. So I'm literally just kind of sweeping it right here. Now to help chisel out my nose, I'm going to take another bronzer. This is the one from Morphe, the Trailblazer bronzer. This is the Glamabronze bronzer in Trailblazer. I don't like using the Makeup by Mario bronzer, mainly because it's just a little too red, and I feel like it kind of gives me Rudolph vibes if I do that. So I take this with a fluffy, it's an eyeshadow brush from Kala, and I kind of just use this, drag this into my brow, and then drag it down the sides of my nose to just kind of give me that snatched nose effect. Boom. We are going to bake. Again, I'm going to be using my new favorite baking powder. This is the Huda Beauty Easy Bake in Ube Birthday Cake. It's a very, very much lilac-y purple powder. I'm going to take my powder puff I was using this whole time, dip it in there, and generously apply it to the sides of my nose, kind of to help reinforce that contour. And then lightly drag it out. So most of the powder is concentrated more so on the sides of my nose. This helps brighten, it helps control oils if you are an oilier girl. And it's gonna help because I'm about to do shadow. And if I have any fallout, it won't fall onto my face and force me to have to fix it. It'll fall onto the powder and then I can dust it away. So if you are a type of girly who likes to do their eyeshadow last, I suggest baking so that way you don't risk ruining all the hard work you just done. So we are going to go to the eyes. I'm going to be using the Master Mattes palette by MAC. You guys who have been following me know I love this palette. I can pretty much do any and every look with this palette. I grab this palette more than I pretty much grab anything else, let's be real. So I'm going to start with this shade right here, the second one on the bottom, and I'm taking my Morphe M505 brush and I'm going to focus this right here on the outer V. It's okay if it blends into where we had that blush kind of on our eyes. I'm really not taking this anywhere but like right here. You need to use a smaller brush so you don't make any mistakes. Feel free to do so. But I really want the depth of the color to be right here. Going with a little bit at a time. That way you can avoid making mistakes, especially since you've already done your face. I am dragging this out just a tiny bit. I'm gonna clean my brush off in my little Morphe shadow changer. And we're gonna go into this shade right here on the end. And I'm gonna take that and kind of bring that further towards the middle and help blend the edges of that first shade. And kind of use this in my crease. I'm gonna clean my brush off again. And we're gonna go into this peachy shade. Y'all can see, I don't know if y'all can see, but it's got a little dent in it. I'm using that shade a lot. I'm just gonna spread that all over my lid space. blend it in with the edges of the brush into that brown we just put on. I know I said no more brown smoky, but this isn't just my basic, because y'all know I would have really just thrown bronzer on my eye and called it a day. I'm going to take my Fenty Beauty Diamond Balm. This is the shade Cognac Candy. I don't even know if y'all can get this anymore, but really any of the Diamond Balms would work for a kind of look like this. I'm taking a flat brush. This is like an Anjou brush I got from Amazon. And I'm just going to pat this shimmer basically over where I just put that peach. I'm going to use the peach kind of as a background to amplify the shimmer. I'm just going to I have this Morphe M321 brush. It's kind of like a little domed pencil-ish brush. We're gonna go back into the Master Mattes by Mario, and I'm gonna go into that first shade we used, that first brown, and I'm going to go from my outer corner underneath my eye. So I'm gonna blend underneath and smoke it out. I want it smoky, and I'm only going about halfway under my eye. I'm not going the full length of my waterline. Okay, now before I dust this powder off, I'm gonna do my lashes off camera. I am using these lashes by Juvia's Place in the shade Kush, but it's very difficult for me to put lashes on camera because of how curly my natural ones are, so I will be right back. These are slowly becoming like my favorite lashes. Like, I just love the extra flare on the end. Perfect for every day, but also perfect for like a real flirty eye, you know what I'm saying? So I am going to line my waterline with two different liners today. The first is going to be the black pencil from NYX, and I'm going to line this basically to where I had stopped with that brown, so towards the middle of my eye, just like that. Ooh, my eyes have been watering so bad lately, and I think it's because I really haven't been taking my contacts out. But the second pencil we're going to use is from Makeup Forever. This is the shade Boundless Bisque, and I'm going to take that from my inner corner to the black. If your eyes are watering too much, you need to go back in later. Do that, but ooh, child. Love that for me. And then I just had this brush in my hand. Y'all ever do that where you just had a brush in your hand and you put it down? And now I don't, like, here we go. I'm taking that Morphe pencil brush, the M321, cleaning it off again, going back into that Makeup by Mario palette. I know we did a lot today. But I'm going to go back into that peach, and we're just going to place the peach right here in the inner corner. Gorgeous. Now I am going to take my blush brush. I am going to take my blush brush. I'm not going to add any extra blush, but I'm going to just kind of dust kind of further back towards my temples just to bring that color back. And my face looks so good. I need to put mascara on. Using the Bad Gal Bang, I'm going to do my lower lash mascara. Just look what that did to my eye. I have been losing all of my lip pencils. I have no idea why, but I'm gonna take my Anastasia lip pencil. This is the shade Malt, and we are going to line my lips. In the corners of my lips when I line them, I like to kind of bring them in a little bit because I like the ombre effect on my lips. I do feel like I need this a tad bit darker. So I want to take another pencil. Alright, I have Rent Due by One Size, and I'm just gonna go on the outside of that pencil. I'm gonna blend those two liners together using this random Anjou angled brush. Okay, now it's time to set my lips. I have my translucent powder from One Size right here, and I'm just gonna take my powder puff and press this on my liner. This just kind of helps my liner to last a little bit longer. Go around my mouth with my sponge because I'm not trying to highlight it, but the lipstick I want to use today is from Juvia's Place. This is the shade Nubian Sand. If you are an OG, you know this is like my go-to for my nude lip combos. It is just fire. When you blend, don't smear your lips. Either smack, use your finger and tap, 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 or get a brush and blend those edges out. For the center of my lip, I'm gonna take this Huda Beauty lipstick. This is the shade Buttercup. It is a little creamier and a little pinkier, but I don't know, for whatever reason, like where my lip meets the inner lip has not been doing good with mattes lately. So I've been having to take like a satin and just putting that on there. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna take this gloss from NYX. This is the Butter Gloss in Ginger Snap. And I'm only going to use this where I placed my liner. Now, I have actually been leaving my lip like this. Sometimes I put a gloss on everything, but I kind of like the matte satiny look in the middle and then like the gloss around the ends with the line. I don't know, it's just been eating lately. So we leave my lip like that. I'm going to take my sponge and we're going to press my bake in. I don't have a lot of fallout, so I don't need to dust anything. But I like to press my bake in because I feel like I put that powder there for a reason. So why would I dust it off? So that purple setting powder really enhances my blush like beautifully. I find any shade of blush I've worn, whether it's been purple, pink, red, it just really enhances how that looks, and I love that for me. So now that my face is pretty much done, I don't think I want to highlight her. Do I want to highlight my nose? Should I? Before we do that, let's just spray my face. I'm taking the MAC Fix Plus. Got my handy dandy fan, and we're just gonna spray, melting all those powders in, bringing that color back into the face. I feel like we should highlight my nose. So we're gonna do highlight all over. I'm gonna take the Gold Deposit by MAC and use this on my cheeks. I have an angled collar brush, and just gonna kind of put this like in between where my blush and bronzer meet. Back into the temple. If you want to put, so I know people like putting it on their forehead too, all of that, do you boo boo. For my nose, I'm going to take this highlighter from Revolution. This is Dare to Divulge. I have this really itty bitty pencil brush, and I'm going to do my exclamation point. So we're not doing a straight line all the way down the nose. Ooh, that was a lot. Oops. I kind of start from the top of my eye and down to kind of where the end of my eyes are. And then I'm going to take my sponge and just press that in, because I definitely think I went a little too heavy-handed. If you feel like you need a little bit more brightness, feel free to go in. I am going to do just a tad, just a little wash of my Charlotte Tilbury's powder, if I can get the thing open. This is the same one we used earlier in shade 2, and I have another setting brush, not the one I used for my concealer. This is just a regular one that just has powder on it, and I'm just gonna lightly tap this right here under the eye, just because I want a little bit more brightness. These are those finishing touches they be talking about. I'm just gonna take whatever's left on the brush and kind of just go down my T-zone. under my bronzer. So I have my MAC Fix Plus Stay Over. We're just gonna spray one more final time. If you want, you can use your one size Krylon, the Loreal Infallible spray. I don't use those every day unless I'm doing like something like really big, an event or something. I find I can really get by with my Stay Over for like just a regular day. But this is pretty much it. So I'll be right back once I put my earrings and stuff in. Alright y'all, so this is my completed look on my take of the Victoria's Secret model look. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this look. I think I look fabulous. Granted, I would probably be in some lingerie if I would be a Victoria's Secret model, because you know that was my dream growing up, was to walk that runway. But now I got a tee on and some jeans. So I'm just gonna go outside and chill with some friends, nothing fancy. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, give me a big huge thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, and I can't wait to see you guys in my next video. Bye.